session of our program. I request Dr. A. Ranjit Kumar sir, who is our resource person for today's afternoon session, to come on dais. I request Dr. C. Mohammed Fahim sir to come on dais. I request Dr. H.K. Sulaiman Khan sir to come on dais. I request Murugan sir to come on dais. I request all the faculty members to come on dais. Hariharan sir and Gufran sir, please come on dais. So, dear student friends, we have identified certain marginalized sections, and what we do is, in the first part, the resource persons talk about the rights guaranteed to them, and in the second part, what happens is, the policies taken by the government to empower that marginalized sections. So yesterday afternoon we had gender rights. Today morning we had minority rights. And now, in continuation of this, we will have the rights of the tribal people. So today, Dr. A. Ranjit Kumar sir from DLR Arts and Science College in Vilambakam in Ranipet district has come here. He will deliver to you in the first session a lecture on the rights of the tribal people as guaranteed by the Indian Constitution and as guaranteed by special laws enacted for the tribal people. And in the next session, he will be talking about the policies enacted by the government, the policies of the government which help in empowering the tribal people. So we thank Dr. Ranjit Kumar sir for accepting our invitation and for being here with us. And now we would like to honor Dr. A. Ranjit Kumar sir. I request Professor M. Siddiq Ahmed sir to honor Dr. A. Ranjit Kumar sir. So now I request Ranjit Kumar sir to take on the proceedings. So Ranjit Kumar sir will be doing a PowerPoint presentation. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. So it is a great opportunity has given by our HODs as well as our college. So I thank you very much. So now I'm going to discuss about what are the rights we have, particularly in tribes. So before we have to discuss about what is the tribes and what is a caste. Okay, so we will learn about tribes. So why the name of the tribes, the chronological order, where it's come from, tribes as well as caste. So what is the two differentiate between caste and tribes? Just we can understand about what is tribes. So once we can understand, after that we will discuss about what are the constitution has been given the guarantees, particular scheduled tribes. So nowadays, most of the tribes, they are facing the atrocities and social economic problems. So we will come across every day to see about various problems. So even though the Constitution assured certain rights, most of the most marginalized group, they are benefited and reservation policies as well as and welfare policies also. So why they are benefited? So what is the reason behind it? So my topic discuss about and three ways. So first one is the tribes in history, like the why the tribes has come up in the history. So where it's come up, we know about the census, like 2011 census, 2001 and not one census. We know that. So from that we can understand. So first we will discuss name of tribes in history. So you are a history students. So you try to understand about what I am going to learn here. Okay. So it is one of the part of the research paper I have written. It is going to publishing very soon. Okay. So in India, so 1853, there is a first census survey. So that survey has based on only that direct survey. That survey, it's maximum they are done and through the field surveys. So that survey has done by and Northwestern Province. You know very well about Northwestern Province. So why they are conducted the survey? That survey has categorized two ways, one agriculturist and non-agriculturist. So that time, so they needs to understand who are working as agriculturist and who are not working in agriculturist. So it is a first time in history the census has started. So after that, the survey also and developed. So why they are conducting? Most of the agriculturists as well as non-agriculturists, they needs to and welfare policies. So in previous time, they are non-agriculturists and as well as agriculturists, they need some benefits from the government. So even though the East Indian companies try to understand and try to and evaluate and histories the census. So after that, the caste was also created. So why? So what are the customs they have? So after that, the institution that's developed the infant mortality as well as infanticide, which means they need some historical perspective. Like so nowadays problem means in previously most of the women they are suffered. So based on the institution has conducted a survey. So it is another basic and foundation of the survey. So after that, the fourth word of Varna system, we know that Varna system. So Varna system also the conducted, but in this survey they are not included as Varna system within the and agriculturist and non-agriculturist. They are conducted survey like those have suffered and women health, like infant mortality as well as and those who are and committed sometimes in suicide in previously, they have followed some surveys. So for example, so in that survey, the Jains also they are included. So in previously they doesn't have any categories like caste-based census. So in previous time we know that the religious wise they have categories like and Jains. So it is one of the examples. So after that, the British government feels that there is a need of in-depth study about and census. So in India, first survey 1867, the Woods. So it is a first survey has conducted. So they have identified 173 caste as well as tribes. Okay, so we know that these are some caste identified. So it's also deals about the tribes also. Why I am trying to discuss here the caste as well as and tribes also similarly is same. Okay, so most of here they have categories and 9 categories. Among them they categories and 173 caste. So after that, in 1871 census, they have and followed by the and 4 kind of and census, like and in Northwestern province and Central province and Bengal and Madras. This and the Madras also and categories and 17 caste as well as tribes group and Bengal the categories and 13 groups and Central province 11 groups. So and Northwestern province 4 groups. So these are the census they have categorized. So this also helps to understand in future times. So after that, so they feel that the census need to conduct in every 10 years. That before they have conducted in 1871. After that they followed and 1881. Okay, so this census maximum they followed and Brahmin, Rajput and other kindreds. They have categories 3 categories. So apart from they have not conducted any caste as well as tribes and they couldn't include any caste as well as and informed. So actually that census categories that though who have and more than 1 lakh population they have identified and below the 1 lakh they couldn't identify it because they need some huge and populations. So after that they have understand about the why they are needs. So one of the census commissioner said that he recommended that in every province some officer who has yet test for the be debuted to and complex information about the caste. So it means that they needs and in-depth study so about the caste as well as sense. He also said that there is no common like that. They have find out only and 3 ways. Like and as I told that and Brahmin and Rajput and other Hindus. After that he also tried to include some explanation about these studies. So among this, he also find out some casteless tribes and caste connected with the land. In previously time, they have land. Those who has the land, that people occupy the caste list. So after that, if you have land, so you have the caste. Like that, they identified. After that, artisan caste and trader caste, service and priestly and religious orders. So which means that they have identified and 7 type of caste as well as and tribes. So among these, we have understand why these are emerged in various way, various concept. So in like and part 2 and caste connected with land. So they have, we know that the evolution of the human. So after the human race, the human needs to and gathering one place and cutting the food. Like that they are demanding those who are occupied particular mainstream areas. They have land. So based on the land, they are occupied as a caste. So after that, the Bengal government feels that it is a need to study the caste census. So in 1885, the caste census has been conducted based on the occupation of the people. So first census, it has been conducted throughout the Bengal province. The government thus executed because they need those who have the land, those who have not the land, based on the government of Bengal has executed the survey. So at the same time, so feels that there is a need of and census. So there is a needs of occupation. So occupation is the most important and role play to acting the landlords in previous time. If you have lands, so you can concentrate about and occupation also. So if they have power also determined by the occupations. So after that, that report has published in 1891. There are 4 volumes and tribes as well as and caste of Bengals. So after based on this census has improved. So after that, another northwestern province also conducted one survey 1896. Then southern India also conducted one census. So these are the mostly ethnographical study. So why they are executed and the ethnographical study? Because there is a need of and tribes occupation as well as caste occupations. So after that, and Punjab northwestern province also conducted an ethnographical study as well as and census survey 1911. Then another one is and central province 1619. So these are mostly they are conducted ethnographical survey as well as census. So these census are based on the occupations. So because occupation is a main concentrate about the caste work as well as tribes works. So in 1891, so another landmark is a census survey. So first one is, and they have categorized and 2 ways, and we know well about. So we have discussed in some caste and tribes. So this is and to part A, Vaishya and Aryan settlers, and B1 and subject tribes. So this from the subject of tribes has emerged. So the race also has included in this surveys. So in 1901, there are 2 type of census has conducted and race as well as caste. So under the caste, so they have identified tribal caste. So based on the tribal caste, so we also incorporate in the constitution. So after that, the constitution also adopted scheduled caste. We know that caste as well as tribes. So based on this historical study, the census also included some scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribes. So with these are included in the constitution. Based on the constitution, they are enjoying the constitution provisions. So in 1912, there is a ethnographical study all over the India. The British government tried to understand who their needs and benefits of welfare policies. So this time most of the and most marginalized community, they are suffered from the untouchable as well as and atrocity. So they needs to and ethnographical study. They are followed and 3 kinds of and survey. So So in 1921, so the British government identified there are 20 type of caste as well as tribes groups. So like for example, so agriculture and cultivators. So in this survey, they are not included in any caste as well as tribes, but they are categorized based on the occupations. If you are working particular place or if you work in any form of the employment, so based on they have and conduct the survey and identified, and there are 20 type of and groups. So after that, some caste census as well as ethnographical study is increasing. So it is one of the landmark of Indian Constitution 1935 Act. So this 35 Act, they are given the reservation. So those who are needs and scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribes. Actually in this act they are officially called as scheduled tribes. So from this act they are concentrated about and scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribes. The reservation also given some categories like backward areas and backward tribes, and Muslim also they have benefited this reservation in this act. So it is a first provision has given to the and scheduled tribes as well as scheduled caste. So they have benefited and various government policies after that, and before and 1935 there is no reservation has given to the government. Okay, at the same time, so from this act the government has ready to give the reservation such peoples like those who are most marginalized group. So in during the independence, most of the most marginalized community like tribes as well as caste, they are not benefited, they are not getting any reservation. Also they have suffered in even public place, even the fundamental rights they couldn't access, which means that the public place they are not getting education as also. So in 1936 the government of India first scheduled caste order. So those who have the list they have published. After that, and scheduled caste and scheduled tribes order also given 1950. So after that 1956 scheduled caste and scheduled tribes list modification as given by the government of India. So these are the historical evaluation that tribes as well as caste. Okay, so now we can shift into and what are the constitution provisions given to the tribes. So in this way I have categories and two ways. So we have basic and as well as discussing constitution provision and also and legal provisions. So what is the difference between and constitution as well as legal provisions? The constitution, it means Indian constitution, they are guarantees some rights particular people. The based on the act, based on the article, some rules and regulation created, which means the local ordinance or local law. So first we will discuss about educational as well as and cultural safeguards. So in constitution there are 5 kinds of and safeguards. One is and educational and cultural safeguards. Second one is a social safeguard. Third one is economic safeguard, and fourth one is political safeguard and service safeguards. So in Indian constitution they have given the fundamental rights. The fundamental rights, they are equal to everyone. They are enjoying and every persons. Okay, apart from the constitution guarantees a particular most marginalized community like scheduled tribes as well as scheduled caste. Okay, they are benefited. So Article 14, we know that the Constitution, there is a provision and equal before the law. They are current is a positive discrimination. So why they are current is positive discrimination? So in Article 14, there are two ways, and negative discrimination as well as positive discrimination. And positive discrimination Constitution itself, there are some communities as well as some tribes, they are benefited. So based on the social as well as educational as well as cultural safeguard. The article and 15.4, the state shall make, which means that there is a special provision shall be guaranteed particular scheduled tribes. And those who are and educationally as well as and disadvantaged tribes, they are benefited. Based on this article, the Indian government as well as various state government also enacting various welfare policies. So through the constitution, so most of the tribes, they are benefited in social as well as educational scholarship, and also they have received and some fund scholarship, they are benefited. So in most of the minority institutions, so we know that some minority institutions, they are getting the scholarship also as well as the central government also given and OBC scholarship as well as ST scholarship and SC scholarship, they are providing to empowerment their people to come up and mainstream political parties as well as mainstream development. So after that, and Article 29, any section of the citizen or within the part or enter the part, their rights to speak and own mother tongue as well as they are benefited and same cultures. So we know that nowadays most of the people, they are not enjoying the same culture. They are not ready to speak the mother tongue. Because some peoples, they are trying to and misleading some caste as well as tribes. So these provisions has given you can speak in own your mother tongue as well as you can follow your own culture. Not only the tribes. So if you have your own culture, you can enjoy your culture. So like that, the Indian Constitution guarantees. So this comes under the fundamental rights. Okay. So if you have the rights, you can benefit. If you have rights, you can enjoy. So the Constitution guarantees to given everyone, including and tribes also. So Article 29.2, no citizen shall be denied in admissions like education. So in any tribes shall not be entered into education institution, they can be approached the court or Supreme Court as well as High Court. They can approach, they can claim your justice. You can get and justice also. So if the person denied the basic rights in the education admissions, so you can easily access, because the Constitution has given the special rights in scheduled tribes. And also, if tribes school or any tribes college needs to run, the government ready to give any fund through this act. So Article 46. So here the government said that the state shall promote with special care the educational as well as economic interest of weaker section of the people. So it comes under the directive principle of state policy. Okay. So based on this section or based on this article, the government ready to give and special provisions. Like in particular scheduled caste and scheduled tribe, for most marginalized community and weaker section. So in Indian Constitution, they are rightly classified that and scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribe and weaker section of the people. Okay. So those who have the and weaker section, the state government as well as central government ready to and launch and a new program. So if some people they are not ready to access any reservation, the government also concentrate particular caste as well as group they can give an particular community. So based on our Tamil Nadu government also and Indian government also they are given the reservation to the scheduled tribes. So in national level they are given the reservation 7.5 and Tamil Nadu government has given 1% based on the populations. So like that they are creating a new law to protect the tribes. And another one is Article 350. So as already told that. So if you follow your own mother tongue, you can try to understand your mother tongue, you can and exploit this to others. Okay, most of the people they are not ready to and explore your own language. That kind of community they are ready to and expose your language into others. So your culture also identified in particular place to and common places. So these are and educational safeguard, educational as well as and cultural safeguards. So again another social safeguards, the Article 23 rightly point out that there is no traffic in human beings or beggar or other similar form of the forced labor or prohibited and any provision shall be offense in it is a punishable offense, which means that we know that most of the scheduled tribes as well as scheduled caste till now they are facing and labor problem as well as and forced labor. They have earning money but very limited money. Some company they are giving, like if you have and wage 100, for example, if you have wage 100 rupees, but the company has ready to give and 10 rupees, 5 rupees, like that. They are, it is a offense of the Indian constitution as well as against the Indian constitution, but at the same time the constitution as well as state ready to and give the and guarantees those who have the suffered. And Article 23 to nothing in this article shall prevent the state from the imposing compulsory service for public purpose, and imposing such service state shall not make any discrimination on the ground only the religion, race, caste or class or any of them. So if you needs to work any public service commissions, the government must shall give the reservation, including promotion also and entering level also the government must give it. Otherwise it is unconstitutional. So most of the we are facing nowadays the union government as well as and state government ready to give the and reservation to each and every community. The economically weaker section also they are benefited and reservation from the and central government. So they are benefited and 10% based on the Article 46 they are benefiting. At the same time scheduled tribes they are entering into services as well as promotion they have to given the and reservations. And Article 24, no child below the age of 14 years shall be employed. So if any company or any institution they can admit any children like 14 years of the children, it is considered as child employed. If you appointed any child employee, it is an offense. It's also and helps to and stop the and child labors. So we know that most of the persons they are ready to give the wage, limited wage to the child laborers. So recently I have saw one students, they are studying in 11th classes and he is working in one tea shop. Why? I asked them, why you are working like tea shop? He told my mother has passed away, so I am suffering money, so I am working like that. He informed. So it is one of the offense. I told him, so you can move to any education institution, you can get and compulsory and free education. So after that, he has not come to that tea shop. So it is an offense if you found any persons and appointed as below the and 14 years, it is an offense against the constitution. The constitution ready to and find ready to give the punishment also. So economic safeguard. In Indian constitution, another provision has given the and scheduled tribes. The provisions and fifth scheduled. What is the fifth schedule of Indian constitution? The east countries like Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, they have special provision because most of the tribes they are concentrated about the Assam, Meghalaya. So these countries they have benefited article and it is 7.1. So Indian constitution assume that they have special provisions. So if you have special provisions, the government ready to give the and some welfare activities. Based on this government, the economic type of administration also and given particular and areas. And Article 244 Part 2. The state shall apply to administration and control of the scheduled area. So what is the scheduled area? Most of the tribes concentrate in the particular district. Maximum 100% they are concentrated particular district. So which means that the administration of the scheduled area. So the government is ready to appointment and the special commissioner to monitor the particular district. And also like such a state like Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram. These states they have and special administrative area. Based on the administrative area, the entire Indian government also and given the economic development. So they are ready to and give and money to development of scheduled tribes. And political safeguard. So we know that so most of the scheduled tribes as well as scheduled tribes they are benefited and political reservation also. So in the case the scheduled tribes also they are benefited. Article 164. The article rightly pointed out there shall be a minister in charge of the tribal welfare like and Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Chhattisgarh and Jharkhand. This state must have the create and welfare department. In previously they couldn't have any and separate department like a department of welfare of and tribes. So article and 330. So there is a reservation to given the scheduled tribes. So except and scheduled tribes in the autonomous district of Assam. So in autonomous district there is Lok Sabha, which means that the scheduled areas, most of the tribes they are living because of the government feels that in tribal areas or scheduled area they are not given any reservation. Apart from the other constituency they are guarantees and reservation based on the populations. So if you have population they have considered some reservation they are given. So article and followed by the article 332. There is a reservation to and state legislative assemblies. So every state legislative assembly must follow the reservation. So if they are not ready to give the reservation to scheduled tribes, it is against the constitution, we can definitely move to the court. So in autonomous district like Assam, they have not and any reservation like scheduled tribes, because most of the tribes, maximum 100% of the tribes, they are living in and scheduled tribes administration. So these are considered the administration area, scheduled tribes administration area. And Article 334, reservation of seats and special representation. So this article rightly pointed out in previously Article 330, Article 332, each government must follow that reservation. If not followed that reservation, we can move to any court. Like that article pointed out. And Article 343D, the seat shall be reserved for the scheduled tribe in every panchayat. Recently, we have our government conduct the urban local body election and previous time rural local body election also. The government and given the reservation to and scheduled tribes. And after that, and Article 371, special provision for Nagaland and Assam, Manipur. So that government feels that most of Naga population, they are living and in Nagaland. So they are giving special provisions. So they needs to and special cultural activities. They are needs to understand the basic cultural identification of Naga community. So based on the government, even the constitution itself, they are guarantees and special provisions. And service safeguard also. So we also enjoying some service like and reservation of appointments. So Article 16(4). So scheduled tribes, they need to reservation in appointment in entry level also. Even the promotion and seniority also, the state government as well as central government must follow the reservation. So based on the population areas. And Article 16(4) and A, promotion as well as seniority also, they can be considered. Article 16(4)(A). So in previously time, those who are unfilled the vacancy, the government can be concentrate like a backlog vacancy, they can provide and they can and fill the vacancy. So otherwise, so any persons or any scheduled tribes are ready to move to and any court. And Article and 335. The SC as well as ST shall be taken into consideration of the maintenance of efficiency of administration. Like that, so those who have the efficiency administration within the scheduled caste as well as within the scheduled tribes, they are ready to and come up in the mainstream development, they can concentrate the administration. And also, so most of the, we know that some cut-off mark, so based on the community, based on the caste, they are government, they are relaxation gas given. So in tribes also, they are relaxation gas given as well as and scheduled caste also, they are benefited and mark reservation as well as and relaxation also. So in previously that we got discussed and constitutional safeguards. Okay. So after the based on the constitution as well as the government has created special provisions like to protect the Atrocity Act or like based on the Article 46. Based on the Article 46, the government is ready to give and special act. So this act and safeguards under various law. So first in India, so after the independence as well as and Republic of India, the rights, civil rights. So in first the welfare program 1952, the government launched and national service scheme and community development program also launched. At the same time, the most marginalized peoples feels that we are benefited in various independence struggle, and as well as we are not benefited and civil rights like that they are demanding. So we need safeguards of and civil rights. Okay, so after that the government launched that act and Protection of Civil Rights Act. So the Protection of the Civil Rights Act was enacted in 1955. It is a first act in favor of the scheduled tribes as well as scheduled caste. So what is the reason behind it? Because the article 17 told that to be abolished and untouchability. So till now the in written, so Constitution says that abolition of untouchability. In practice, so till now no way to and execution. So there is a problem between and law as well as execution body. So that's what till now the abolition of untouchability it's not possible because of till now it practicing. Because most of the top level and Hindu caste communities, they are till now suffered. They are ready to and implementing in the untouchability, but they are not ready to abolition of untouchability. So this act they are giving the special provision to scheduled tribes. If the government as well as any group of the people do untouchability, the government ready to take the action against that persons. In accordance with this constitutional provision and act, parliamentary ready to give the punishment those who did and untouchability. So this act based on the only Article 17 of Indian Constitution. So as I already told that Indian Constitution they have given the certain rights based on the constitutional rights and local law also created. Then, so after long journey of and PCR Act, they have easily concentrate about PCR Act. So after long way, after that the government execute and scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribes Atrocity Act, Prevention of Atrocity Act, 1989. So, what is the relations between and atrocity as well as and PCR Act? So, in PCR Act, we can fill the case against any persons, those who have suffered and civil rights. Like women also, they are facing the civil rights. They also file the and case against particular persons. But atrocity acts only for the scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribes. It is a non-bailable case. If you filed by the any case, you cannot get it any bail. You cannot get it any fail within the 6 months. Okay, so the act also given the maximum 5 years of punishment, either institution group like institutional group or any individuals. So they have the provisions. They till now they are due to this act the atrocity also reducing. So recently the and National Crime Bureau of India given the statistic, they are rightly pointed out the crime rate also decreased because of this kind of act. The anticipatory bail not available under the Section 8. So anticipatory fail, you will not get it if the police department filed the case against the atrocity. So you can't get it easily case. So after that you can get kind of punishment. So after in 1995, the SC as well as ST and prevention of atrocity rules, it has been emerged. So the government was executed, and so this act included some and special feature in favor of scheduled caste as well as scheduled tribes. Like they have appointed and protection cell, scheduled tribes as well as scheduled caste. Separate cell must be created based on these rules. After that, the state government must be nominated and nodal officer at least and state and secretary level. So without rank of secretary, the government should not nominate as a nodal officer. If they are nominated, the any secretary, it is an offense against this act, they can file case against particular state government. And also the state secretary coordinating the function of district magistrate and superintendent of police or other officer authorities. They are ready to investigate if any atrocity committed particular place. They have ready to investigate in particular place within the time period. They have visited very quickly. They have visited and inquired the atrocity, even those who are committed such persons. So with the help of the and state secretary as well as and district magistrate, which means that district magistrate called as a collector. Okay, so they can and investigate to find out what is the reason beyond the atrocity, who has committed, who has against the atrocity act. They have given the punishment also. Once the punishment, the government ready to and give the punishment. So this act also gives and special provision like to create the separate court for atrocity court for into dealing of atrocity act, including and ST as well as SC. And another one is Bonded Labor System Abolition Act in 1976. So no person can be work as a bonded laborers. So this act also benefited and some most of the and scheduled tribes as well as various scheduled caste also they are benefiting. So this act against the bonded laborers. So if the government as well as and any institution like any companies, they are given the job without any salary or least salary, that is a offense. And another one is and child labor and Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986. So as already I told you, below and 14 years of the child cannot be work in any company or any unorganized sectors. It is a offense. And in Factory Act also, they are not ready to give the child laborers work. So this also act also gives and special provision for scheduled tribes as well as scheduled caste. And Minimum Wages Act 1948. This act, the institution must be give the minimum wages, like the based on the state government can be fixed. So after that, the minimum wages shall be given to the particular community as well as particular caste. So Bonded Labor System Act also helps that, and if frees all bonded laborers, cancel any outstanding debt of against them. If the government find out any bonded labor that institution can be stopped. They have and capitals they have surrender to the government. They can government ready to take action against a particular company. They can and the future the institution they are not running. So after that, so the act has executively and effectively. And another one is and prohibit the creation of the new bondage agreement. So if the government find some and bondage agreement, so the previous bondage agreement can be cancelled, and after that the government ready to and launch and new bondage agreement within the employees as well as employer. And orders of economic rehabilitation of freed and bonded laborers by the state. The state government as well as and central government is ready to give the economic activities in favor of and rehabilitation against the bondage laborers. It's also criminalized all post-act attempt to compel the persons to engage in bonded labor. So the government finds any institutions, those who are working as a bonded labor, the government then feel the criminalization against that companies. And Forest Conservation Act 1980. So this act there is a close relationship between and scheduled tribes as well as forest. We know that the tribes, most of the tribes, they are living in nearly hills areas and mountains areas. So this act also and provide the special features of and tribes. The based on the tribes, the act also implementing. So with the collaboration between and tribes as well as social institutions, the government ready to and accept this act. So we know very well about and Panchayat Raj institution 1992 implemented. So 73rd Constitution amendment also given and local body election as well as urban body election. So based on the government launched and new program like and Panchayat Raj extension of scheduled tribes. There is a mistake. Scheduled Tribes Areas Act in 1996 to ensuring the self-governance through the traditional Grama Sabha for people living and scheduled areas of peoples. So we know that where all such peoples are living like tribals, that tribals also they have and separate and panchayat. They have traditional panchayat. Based on the traditional panchayat, so this act also give the additional strength to protect the and all the tribes communities. And fifth schedule of the Constitution of India. So most of the tribes where they are living, they have found out such areas they given the and scheduled areas they have achieved. So like categories areas and scheduled areas were not covered by the 73rd Constitution Amendment Act of Indian Constitution. So here they have pointed out scheduled area is not included in 73rd Constitution Amendment Act. That's why the government feels that in scheduled areas needs to and special provisions to and special act like and extension of Panchayat Raj Act. So based on this act also given the and political empowerment of the Panchayat Raj institutions. So recently the government scheduled caste and scheduled tribes and provision of atrocity amendment act 2050 they are launching. this act one of the major milestone to strengthening atrocity act. So in previously we are facing most of the atrocities in public places. They are not ready to access the education. So this act also included some cases like in recently some scheduled tribes they are not ready to getting the education because of the till now the atrocity it's going on. So the government felt that so there is another need to give the new policy like that they recently they announced. It is another landmark of the BJP government. The act outlines of action by non-SC as well as STs against SCs or STs to be treated as offense. The Amendment Act amends certain extending categories and adds a new category of actions to be treated as offense. So already we have some activities, those who are treated some committed crime. So this government some added like a new category, abusing SC STs by the caste name in public. So we know that recently the one of political party leader say they have used the and SC names they have and punished because based on this act the government has taken the action. Okay, so attempting and promote the feeling of ill will against SC as well as STs. So in public places also they are not using any words like unsound words, unmined words they are not using against scheduled tribes as well as scheduled castes. So this act mostly common to scheduled tribes as well as scheduled caste. The imposing and threatening a social and economic boycott. For example, if one person the company cannot say you belongs to scheduled caste or you belong to scheduled like that the institution cannot say. If the institution say the government can take the action as well as that person also take action. Already I told it is not available. So in state of Karnataka versus Abba Balu in court, the court rightly pointed out how long shall we continue to deny equality in our social economic life. If we continue to deny it for long, we will do so only by putting our political democracy. So like that he has quoted. So if you have any doubt,
so we have completed the first session. So any questions, any comments? Anybody wants to give a feedback? Applause. Any questions also?
Otherwise, any clarification is.
Any clarification?
After lunch, it is very difficult to sit a class. Huh?
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So we end the first session here. So the first session was about what are the provisions in the Constitution, what are the special provisions for safeguarding, for protecting the rights of the tribal people. We will have a tea break, a small tea break, and then after the tea break, Again, sir will give a presentation on the policies of the government to empower the tribal community, the tribal people. So you can have a tea break and then you can join us. Thank you. Very